Sing the chorus. Say it loud. Alex makes me jolly. Alex is so gorgeous. Get ready. This part is for the election. Let's share it up now, man. This Monday night gonna be well raw. Every time the PNM supporters turn on the video and see me in a red shirt, they just get a little, they just feel a little nice, you know, you just get jollies. Oh God, he coming across. Not a chance. We taking red back and all from all you. Well, tonight we dealing with Pocket Square. Faris. Faris bite down on something hard. This is going to leave a mark tonight. This one going to leave a mark. Yesterday, the whole and next boat in Caranage, none of Paula Gopi's children was on it. But they arrest everybody. And they was in custody overnight up till today. And nobody was able to call Faris to find a way around the law that Faris right. Now, all you know, I just break this thing down for all you. Fine like chili, baby. I'm still sharing. That's how much WhatsApp we have. I'm still sharing WhatsApp. Let me turn up some cold breeze here. Things, it's getting hot in here. So hear me now. Where was? When you write a law and you help people circumvent the law, that's misbehavior in public office. But Faris is saying that when Schoon called him, he said to Schoon, no, don't be calling me and encouraging me to misbehave in public office, Adrian. You know better than that. I know your mommy well. I know you a long time. You are well known to me. But I want to tell you in my sternest Attorney General voice, no. Let the police do their jobs. But then the Express get information that after that phone call, Faris tried to help the police do their jobs. And call the Commissioner of Police to help him. I want to give Faris the benefit of the doubt. When Faris called the Commissioner, now this is Express, so if the lawsuit's flying, Express House first. I just repeating what the Express put in the public space, that Faris called the Commissioner of Police right after he talked to School. Now I'll tell us something. Way back when, Ronald Moses was arrested for discharging a firearm behind Movie Town with another person. The other person's name will not be called now because it is of no material value. The reason for calling Ronald Moses' name is for two reasons. Ronald comes from a wealthy family. So I assume that they have many lawyers as friends. His brother Michael is a popular guy. And I assume they have plenty lawyers as friends. And they have lawyers that work for them professionally. So even if they never had cause to have to engage a criminal attorney before, all of the lawyers that they know, that they have on the payroll for the business and stuff, to sign lease and organize mortgage and all that kind of thing, those lawyers are part of a law association and they would know who is a good criminal lawyer to recommend. But the Moses family didn't call another lawyer. The Moses family called an attorney named David West. Now, David West, besides being a lawyer at the time and currently, was and is the head of the Police Complaints Authority. Now, I don't think David West ever was a criminal lawyer. So sending David West to the police station only served one purpose, and that was to send the head of the Police Complaints Authority to the police station. You see, and David West said, when the media finally contacted him, and he was shocked, he said, years have passed, why is this a story? Because they had buried the story before me. And when I got the story, it became a story. And right now, the Moses family not going to be happy that their story back out in the public space, because they're wealthy enough so that their children could go behind movie tongue and discharge firearms and it not be a cause for concern. Because the law not supposed to apply to everybody. Correct? You following me yet? So anyway, they didn't send a big shot criminal lawyer. They didn't send a well-versed criminal lawyer. They didn't send an experienced criminal lawyer. They didn't send another lawyer. They sent the head of the Police Complaints Authority. Now, the only reason they had access to the head of the Police Complaints Authority is that Ronald Moses' sister married to David West. So he went there, and he's saying he went as brother-in-law. And that's a nice wiggle. But to the police officers dealing with the matter, they have to pull one another aside. Say, you know, he's the head of the PCA, eh? Yeah, so let me get careful. You know. And that could not be lost on David West. And if it was lost on David West, he's a jackass. He shouldn't have such a serious post. He should have been fired then. Right there, right then. Because that is misbehavior in public office. And I tell you, just for accepting extra airtime over his opponent, an ex-prime minister of Israel went to jail. In real countries, they don't bullshit with the law. They don't use public office to stomp on the people who are subordinate to them, because you see, they're not elected royalty, they're not appointed royalty. Those same police officers pays the taxes that pays David West's salary. And until they get a government that could empower those same police officers, that could tell him, Mr. West, it is highly inappropriate for you to be here. You could be his boyfriend. You could be his husband. You all could be married and sharing a marital bed. It doesn't matter, because for all intents and purposes, you are the head of the Police Complaints Authority. And if for no other reason, recuse yourself for that. And this is Trinidad and Tobago. And the Moses family hearing when people calling, hey, turn on Phillip video, boy. Phillip calling up all your name. Go in and turn on the video and get vexed. Michael Moses is going to send me one of his cryptic WhatsApps tomorrow. Because now that Michael is farting through silk, me and my brother moved the Moses family. We helped them move out of a 2x4 house on Anna Street. So I know him a long time. But now he farts through silk, and he believes when, as most people who are currently farting through silk in Trinidad and Tobago, they believe that they're above the fray. Don't call me name now. Money make we royal. Well, not so much. Because it's still not too late for any government to investigate David West and his involvement in that matter and fire him. and take back all the money that he was paid since that matter. Because that was wrong. Very wrong. Highly inappropriate. And I bring that up again to come back to Faris. When Adrian, I sure he must have called Mommy. Mommy, here what going on? The police raided we both. They ain't no PNM in power. I thought they fired Gary at a point of PNM. That is said in jest. But he, and if that phone call was ever made or not, doesn't matter. Because whether she advised him, because when Paula Gopiskun said she washed her hands of the matter, I didn't know her hands were dirty by the matter. Nobody nowhere called Paula Gopiskun's name except to infer that Adrian Schoon, the owner of Pelican Brief, is her child. But she made it sound that like Pontius Pilate, she was involved in the matter up to her armpits. And she had to wash her hands. But that's a story for another investigation. When Adrian Schoon called Faris, and the multiples of stories vary, one of the stories that floating around in the ether is that Faris didn't get the call, and then he returned the call. And that when the call was returned, the sergeant in the station put the call on speaker so that Pocket Square Esquire could infer to everybody. Now, and he said, this is outside of my remit as the Attorney General. But I want you to hear me say the word Attorney General, because I'm the Attorney General. So I'm calling you to let you know that the person that you have in custody knows the Attorney General. Carry on. Because that's what I, as a police officer, would have taken away from it. Now the sergeant should have said, Mr. Attorney General, you have no role in this matter. Why are you calling us? I'm not calling you all, I call him Mr. Schoon. Fine. Now, they have plenty he say, she say in the media about who called who and what was said. Because Adrian Schoon has since said that the Express lied. Now, the Express lies. Like all media in Trinidad lies. And the fact that the Express and Rhoda Barrett crawling so far up Faris' ass tells me that for some reason, Faris has fallen out of favor with a government for which he has extreme secrets, so that they need to destruct him like they destructed Gary. Now, I hold no brief for Faris. They should fire him last year. They should go back in time and fire Faris. I think he's a stunting jackass. But I have the ability to whistle and walk. And I could watch and see that something else is at play here. My question is this. Why aren't we the people of Trinidad and Tobago who pay all the salaries? Faris, the police, everybody. We pay everybody's salary. Why aren't we being updated? Why was David West able to tell the media, how come this become a story? This happened 8 years ago. Because the media buried the story. If it was Anand Ramlogan, Sunati Maraj would have write that same story for Guardian, Express, and Newsday. And if you don't think such a thing is possible, there was a time she was head of the political news or something election time in 2015 for both TV6 and CNC3. So powerful was the reach of whoever pulls the strings that makes the media pretend to be independent journalism. But that's a story for another investigation. I want you to hear this. I know it's a long shot. PDP beating PNM in Tobago was a long shot. Obama beating Hillary and becoming president of the United States was a long shot. Longer shots have happened. I know it's a long shot for me to get into office, but I'm telling you something, you know why I was on the rundown tonight? You know why Sabga News Network had to put me on the rundown? Because they send it through news source. How a virus mutates, and they put my picture in 5 different things. And not only did people refuse to follow along with Rhoda Barrett, they put her in her place and they slap her down. Her own followers, or who she thought was her followers, slap her repeatedly for that ridiculous post. So they didn't get it. Whoever is the PNM money spinners that pays Rhoda Barrett to be that nuisance didn't get bang for their buck. So tonight, they put it on the rundown. And the only reason I on the rundown for them to ridicule is because Sabga is nervous. And rightly so. Rightly so. When Gary Griffith had called me on the phone, he was choking, crying, laughing, and he couldn't get the words out that he was trying to tell me when he was commissioner of police. And he was laughing hard, and he was, somebody ever trying to tell you something, but they're laughing so hard that they can't finish what they're trying to tell you. That is how Gary was on the phone. And I listened and I said, Gary, compose yourself. Gary called to tell me, when Mark Hernandez was removed from SORT, and he had to appoint somebody, when they started to call him, and they say, who have you appointed? He said, I'm appointing Alexander. Gary said, for a brief time in his morning, many people in high society in Trinidad thought he meant me. And it panicked the shit out of them. And they're calling him and they're blowing up his phone and saying, boy, you're going to appoint him, boy, you're a bad man. And Gary he said, boy, Phillip, them people afraid you, boy. They're afraid you like cat afraid holy water. And rightly so. Sabga knows. He must know why I am subject of the rundown. But as my partner Dominic Lopez liked to say, and I want to quote everybody because I did a thing on monoclonal antibodies that was brought to me by a woman called Zorina, a strong supporter and a brilliant member. And I want to give everybody the credit. And Dominic Lopez tells me, and he says it all the time and I take it. A time will come when all unfair games play over. And Sabga News Network, Guardian Media, they know. They know what they've done. They know what they've done. When Nicholas Sabga called me on the phone to tell me, we want to bring you on the station, but you have to give me an agreement that you'll stop attacking the family. I said, Nick, I can't give no such undertaking, friend. I'm not a PNM or a UNC, you know. I'm not in this for a link up and a love up and a hug up. I give two shit about you and your station. I have my following and it's growing. And right now, it's massive. Tonight I'm joking and saying, everybody loves Phil. But it's a fact. And to all the people who needed to change me, all those, and Sean Sunarine and Dave Lux and Satish Ramsaran and Felicia Holder catching rail kicks, that all of them who wanted me to become a kumbaya, say, Phillip, you talk too rough, you talk too hard. Them talking rough and hard now. Because they're trying to get numbers like me. They're trying to get a following like me. And I'm saying it not with arrogance, I'm saying it with pride. We work hard for this. We work hard for this. And to everybody who's watching tonight, who feels included, we worked hard for that. And I said years ago, I would rather walk in Beetham than drive in Bayshore. And it is the people on the ground that sending the message reverberating through society that everybody loves Phil. And Philip Edward Alexander has a part to play in the outcome of any election in this country at any point in time going forward from here. And Kamala knows that. And Keith Rowley and the PNM knows that. They're trying to shake up the PNM. They're trying to move Rowley, but before they move Rowley, they have to destruct Faris. All of this is to destruct Faris. Because they want to put a woman, most likely of African descent, to replace Keith Rowley. So the smart money is on Penny. And it is to be a distraction from how bad the PNM is held in the entire public's esteem. die-hard followers, supporters of the PNM have gone silent. They're shamed. They're embarrassed. The UNC. If you found out tomorrow that the whole UNC had left Trinidad in a mass migration last month, it would not be a thing to doubt. Because they here, they're not here, same thing. They're irrelevant to the national conversation. The most Kamala could do right now is let her communications people follow me real close. I'm telling you, real close. They're in charge of combing the hairs on the back of my neck. That is how close Kamala communication people follow me. Because if I say it tonight, tomorrow, coming out Kamala mouth, coming out Kamala face. Some things has weight, and let everybody have their say. So the UNC now is lost at sea, and they don't know what is their position on vaccination. And it is only us in the Citizens Union and the Progressive Empowerment Party that had a firm stance against the government's handling of COVID-19 and the madness of mass vaccination for people who don't need it. And now that information is surfacing, they're trying hard. You ever see that game they have in like Games World? Remember that in amusement parks where they have things that pop up and you have to hit it with a hammer? They're trying hard to hit this thing every time it pop up, but it's popping up too much. There's too much information, and that information is bringing a groundswell of credible voices out to speak. In fact, Fuad Khan's position on COVID and vaccines mirrors ours. And we had to talk to Fuad because, I mean, at the end of the day, Fuad Khan is an accomplished doctor. A real doctor, not like Keith Rowley, who's a doctor of rocks. Fuad Khan is a real doctor. Tim Gopi Singh is a real doctor. And the fact that the UNC threw them out is something that the UNC have to discuss among themselves. Among themselves. But what went on here, and I want to come back to this and close up, because we need to segue into plenty other things tonight in Monday Night Raw. But for Faris Al-Rawi now, even though it is now the politically correct move in the PNM to fire him, still needs to be fired. David West needs to be fired. Not because of PNM, not because of politics, but because of governance and what is correct and what is right. And they are both wrong. And wrong can't be right. You can't let wrong run long and then it become right. You can't do that. You had to say that when it happened, it scarred how we perceive justice. And that scar remains as long as there is no consequence. You get that? We set precedent to the police. I don't get them wrong. If some big shot doing something and they say, you know what? Boy, ignore friggin' that way. Because if we go and try to charge he is a ton load of bullshit with all these stunt artists, and I have a pension to protect. And it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. I feel sorry for the police officers involved in the investigation of the soldier in the base who had some information to do with something that had something to do with guns and children in the base. And apparently, this soldier committed suicide and then hid the gun. Only in Trinidad. Only in Trinidad. Dr. Gregory Eckel sent me something today. I hope he doesn't get annoyed when I call his name. But he is somebody who's a doctor, and I like quoting doctors because we need more doctors in the national conversation. He's another accomplished doctor of international repute. And he sent me something today. It goes like this. If you still need a booster after being fully vaccinated, and still need to get tested after being fully vaccinated, and still need to wear a mask after being fully vaccinated, and could still be hospitalized after being fully vaccinated, it's probably time to admit that you've been fully conned. And that's the truth. Insert whatever expletive you want here. The fact of the matter is, you can't call what they're sticking in people a vaccine. You can't call it that. Call it anything else you want. I like to call it donkey piss. But you can call it whatever you want. A vaccine, and my brother said, a vaccine brings an issue to a stop. It brings an issue to a full stop. Faris and the boat, Faris and the dog. Also, before I go forward, I need to announce something. Tomorrow night, because people have been asking me, Philip, please deal with the issue of the furlough and the public servants. Please, Philip, deal with that issue. And I wanted to tell people that we have been trying to get together with the most brilliant human resource professional consultant in the country right now. He's been a guest on the show before, and when they announced the nonsense that they're going to try to do, especially when Faris had his follow-up press conference and said that if you're furloughed, then you abandon your own job. So we've been waiting because I didn't want to talk on the issue unless I could bring, and I was hoping to also bring Ian Griffith, the head of our legal affairs unit that dealing with employee issues, and our legal team tomorrow night, which is Tuesday. We have this guest on the show, and he is going to answer all of the questions, and he's going to tell you what the law says. So they're trying to recuse every judge on the industrial court, and they're trying to take the matter before the high court. Well, I want Trinidad to know that there are many good consultants, and we have the best coming on the show tomorrow night, and he will explain to you and all the judges listening and the rest of the law association and Trinidad and Tobago. He's going to explain to you what the law says, what it means, and what it intends. But not only that, he will be taking your calls, because I said to him it's Tuesday night. And Tuesday night, we open up the phone lines. He said, of course, let's answer. So to all of you who have issues that you want answered about the furlough, tomorrow night, it gonna be rotted. Now we want to deal with something now. And what we're about to deal with now going to change the whole conversation nationally. Call everybody. Tell them. Even if you don't like Philip Alexander, tune in now. What we're about to discuss going to change how you see everything. I'll give you a couple minutes. Use WhatsApp. Use text message. Call on the phone. Go next door and pound on your neighbor door. Hey, turn on your video. Watch Philip. Multiculturalism. From the UNC and the BNN, COPND, political symphony, symphony, TOP, MSG, and GSC, and D, political symphony. Tell them. Don't be played for a fool. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule, to justify their bull. Alright. So, tighten all your belts, bite down on something. I see all you following up the WhatsApp, and I know all you know. Some of all you know what we're about to discuss. Some things are better said by others, and I need to get this. So give me 1/4 minute for you to get this.
name is Gregory Breen. I've been in practice for about 20 years. I'm board certified in pulmonary, critical care, medicine. The concept of antibody therapy, or what's called passive immunity, has been around for over 100 years. Similar types of treatment have been used for measles, rabies, tetanus, hepatitis, influenza, in fact even the Spanish flu, the great pandemic prior to this one. Antibody therapy was used in that situation as well. So this is it's a long-standing therapy that has been promising in several disease processes. The difference with monoclonal therapy is that we are isolating a particular antibody that is most effective against this disease, and that is a unique concept. Not only are we isolating it, but it's being prepared in a laboratory. It is a pure form of the treatment, and it avoids all of the pitfalls of transfusing plasma or blood from a convalesced patient. So the monoclonal antibodies are a single, meaning mono, clone or line of antibodies, a single type of antibody that is then targeted against a part of the virus. Typically, the spike protein is one of the main components of the virus. The treatment is extremely effective, and in fact, phase 3 studies have shown that the treatment can decrease your chances of being hospitalized or dying from COVID by about 70%. So you're sicker for a shorter period of time, and you have a much less chance of being hospitalized or dying from the disease if you receive this treatment. This is an outpatient treatment, and the key is to get the monoclonal infusion before they become very symptomatic.
Pause that. Before they become very symptomatic. Now, some of you may know that a few people know me in the country. A few people know my number. And when they get themselves in a situation where it's not making sense, they call me. So I get multiples of calls, and I have a trove of videos from inside the whole public health and the COVID response. And one of the things that never made sense to me was the idea of the tent. Now, they're renting tents to enrich friends, no problem at all. Trinidad is a country that has been abused and molested by every political party and government we've ever had. So to hear that people thieving money to rent tents through the regional health authorities is no real big news. Trinidad is a thiefocracy as long as you pay them and the UNCG government. I understand that, so we'll take that in stride. But the concept of the tent is to put them on a stretcher, and if stretcher run out, put them on a chair, and if chair run out, put them to lie down on the ground and wait for their symptoms to get worse. That's what they do. Wait it out. They do no treatment. It is why if your loved ones go into our health system, they deteriorate and die. Because COVID is left to run amok instead of being treated. Understand what monoclonal antibodies are. Monoclonal antibodies, what he was just trying to explain to you, is an antibody that is manufactured in a laboratory environment with a specific job. It is like a stem cell. It is a clone of the virus, whatever, it could be used in most any situation. And all of the doctors and all of the medical professionals and epidemiologists and virologists who speak to me are going to send me now a ton of information, and as I get it, I'll share it with you. But I wanted to open the gates and thank Zorina for bringing up this issue today and put me on this track. Because the first thing I did was call my brother, and I said, explain this to me. And he did, and I understand it well. Monoclonal antibodies are mapped to the specific virus. It is not like broad spectrum antibiotics. This is a sniper shot that they inject into your body, and once you inject it into the person, within the first 5 to 10 days of symptoms and a positive COVID test, it'll kill COVID. Because it cancels COVID. It's not even a fight. It is like Mike Tyson in his heyday. Bell ring, you're going in the kitchen to get the bottle of peanuts or the split chana or the bag of popcorn, you're the man on the ground knockout. It's like that. So monoclonal antibodies exist. I want to tell you there's 3,000 people dead in Trinidad. I want to do a quick little bit of arithmetic. I want to remember 5 billion was spent by Imbert and Manning. The twin professionals that's running our Ministry of Finance. $5 billion was spent. For those who don't know how much is 5 billion, 5 billion is 5,000 million. 5,000 millions of dollars. So $1 million is a lot of money. 10 of those are a lot of money. 100 of those are a lot of money. 1,000 of those are a lot of money. 5,000 millions of dollars was spent on top of the 10,000 millions of dollars that we normally spent for the 2 years, 2020, 2021. So we spent $15 billion fighting COVID for the same shit public health, the same shit hospitals, the same shit wards, the same underpaid and frustrated nursing staff, the same tired, waste, expired, failed equipment, the same doctors, the same ambulances, the same amount of beds. Nothing changed. For that $5 extra billion, the first $10 billion is theft, you know. The first $10 billion is also theft, but they doubled down. They doubled down because they had COVID to hide behind. So they thief that too. And that $5 billion is theft. It is stolen money. They're feeding people in the hospital cold, old, spoiled, and rotten food. You spend any money on? It is I who exposed and shut Mascara Girl up. I remember for a while there, Mascara Girl job was to weep for the nation and say 96%, 98%, 99% of the beds in use for you to think 10,000 beds occupied. It is I who found out and told you that in the whole system, we have 51 beds. 51. For 1.4 million Trinidadians and 250,000 illegal aliens here with us. For 1.6 million people. 1.6 million people. 1,600,000 people. We had 51 beds. And you spend 5 billion. She shut up. She shut the hell up. Take her Angostura appointment and go on to count rum bottle. The government run quick and buy 51 more beds. They say we have 104. That was their arithmetic, not mine. For 1,600,000 people, we have 104 beds. We spend $10 billion between 2020 and 2021. Now, here what we spend it on. They cancelled all elective surgeries. All. Nobody was getting elective surgeries. And they shut down important patient care clinics, cancer clinics. They shut down the wound clinic in St. James. I didn't even know wound thing was a therapy was a thing. And the amount of people that call me that come from Sangre Grande, come from Tobago to come to have wounds. They have people with certain illnesses that develop wounds that will never heal, and they need wound therapy to care for them. Or they will develop sepsis and gangrene and die. They closed that down. So the $10 billion, $5 billion budgeted every year to fight COVID, you said that money wasn't for COVID. $5 billion for public health every year in the budget was just public health. And then you parallel, you create a whole other one. We had two. No. No. It's like the jackass who went to buy the pizza in Mario's. And they asked him, you want 6 slices or 8? He said, give me 6, I ain't so hungry. It's the same pizza, it's just cut in bigger slices. But what they did in the public health system was they cut off a piece. And the piece they cut off, they said, die for COVID. So now the same straining, bullshit, waste of time, can't treat nobody public health system we had. that before COVID, your children and your mommy and your everybody used to have to go and sit down and wait 8, 10, 12, 15 hours to get treated. And if they had to go into the hospital, they putting them on the ground or on a piece of foam or on a stretcher in the corridor or on a piss-soaked mattress. I hear that too often to that not to be a thing. So up to 2019, before there was a COVID-19, our hospitals were shit. Our public health was pure shit. People used to go into our hospitals to suffer. And I could tell you, I will never forget the call from Lima McLeod Wilkinson, who was sitting down in Mount Hope. They went to General Hospital and told them, not here, go to Mount Hope. There's treated children there because her child had break her wrist. And Lima and that child sit down in the pain and the discomfort of a broken wrist for 10 hours before anybody even look in the child direction. We spend $5 billion, $5,000 million a year for that. And then they thief piece of that and call it the parallel health sector. So they shut down things that people used to get. You can't go and get your eyes dealt with, and you can't go and listen. They bullshit in you, but the media work is to play hide and seek. Don't study this, look at this, run down and all that bullshit. The media work is to hide the truth. Because they don't bring you the truth unless it serves the financiers of the 1% and the contract mafia. Unless it serves their interests, the media job is to hide it. It's to hide it. So on top of that $5 billion a year, $10 billion, 2020, 2021, besides that money, they say they spend a further $5 billion. I want to ask a question. 3,000 people dead in the last 8 months. 142 died up to April 2021. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 3,000 people dead, give or take, in 8 months. 142 died in 13 months. In the 8 months of these 3,000 people that were clinically ill and seriously ill from COVID, out of that 5,000 million that Imbert and Manning say they spend, we could not get monoclonal antibodies and save those 3,000 lives. I'm talking to Felicia Holder about this, and she's the chairman of the party and the financial controller, and we don't get to talk much politics these days. I mean, when she came on board at the start of the party, we used to talk a lot of politics, and we're talking about this issue because she's saying to me that she had to tell somebody who said to her, if what she's saying is true, there would have been research and there would have been people, there would have been experiments. Felicia had to tell her, you are the experiment. The research is you. They're throwing shit at you and your loved ones and checking to see, does that work? No, they're not still dead? All right, they're not working, don't use that. Try the blue one. The blue one, bring in the next second dying person. Try the blue one didn't work either, they're dead. Okay, we'll bring the green. But wait, there's a big shot. We have any monoclonal antibodies, inject them 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. They're well, send them on their way. I get a call. You see, now, I want to tell you this. There are things that you cannot believe is our reality. And you won't get to hear it because of highly paid lawyers whose job it is to silence me from speaking of issues that the government should be addressing. The government is hiding behind a shield of serious lawsuits for defamation, and everything is defamation. You cannot bring up issues of clear government abuse and financial theft and it not cost you legally. And there are things that if you knew, and you'll only know when I am in the parliament, You'll only know when I have parliamentary privilege. You'll only know, and especially, you don't want us to be in opposition. You want us to be in government, in control of the Speaker's chair. You want us to be able to rewrite the laws so that the parliament functions again in the best interests of the public. And issues of urgent national importance takes hours and days, if that is required, for that information to be brought to you. You have that power. In your vote, you have the power to elect into government people who can fix the parliament and make it functional again, so that what broadcasts on the Parliament channel will be must-see TV. There are things that if you knew, I can't even tell you how you would react. But there are things that have been done in this country, and many people don't realize how failed this nation is, until they have to run and join Citizens Union and come back and say, look, this is evidence that I paid, I'm a member, this is my number, I don't have the card yet, but you had to help me. Because it's only when they start, they say, nah. I'm talking to a very good friend today, and he's telling me they have a whole strata of society that loving Phillip right now, because they used to think that they were insulated from the vagaries and the vicissitudes of life in Trinidad and Tobago. They said, watch it happen to the poor. And it didn't affect them. They always had somebody to call. But now there's nobody on the other end of that line. And the money for the bribery running out. So the whole con game, shell game is collapsing on itself. The PNM, neither the PNM nor the UNC have either a clue or a plan. And if you think that I am lying, go to the Parliament channel and go on the archives and watch the last 20 debates and listen to the vapid bullshit, the intellectual bankruptcy that passes from the depravity that is our parliament now. It is bullshit bacchanal noise. It's who could fling their frame harder and who could throw blame better. And it's a set of small short bands, schoolyard, tell on me bullshit. And nothing that addresses the shortcomings of life in Trinidad and Tobago, where nothing works. Nothing works. Nothing. And many people prefer right now to stay quiet, because they believe that if they speak out, it'll get worse. And that is an incredible indictment against what we believe is a nation ruled by law. That you are afraid of the government victimizing you, using organs of state to damage you. This is what citizens who pay taxes and whose taxes pay these people's salaries are paying them and are afraid of them. $90 million would have paid for monoclonal antibodies for the 3,000 people that died, and all 3,000 would be alive today. So why, if this treatment exists, and if we had $5 billion to fling, why didn't we spend 2%, less than 2%, 1.5% actually, of the 5,000 million? Why didn't we spend 2% saving these lives? Thief the rest. Thief the rest. Thief it. Thief it. Give your children fancy car to drive in England. Put them in private school, Paul Crest on their pocket, and make them feel they're shitting different flavors of ice cream now because your father's a successful thief. Thief it. Spend 2%. At least. Save these lives. If there are treatments that exist, why did these 3,000 people have to die? If we had the $5 billion to spend, why did these 3,000 people have to die? What did we spend the $5 billion on? Up to now, neither of those two stunting jackasses, Imbert and Manning, have had to answer to any authority as to a breakdown of the 5 billion. Fling a number them. We spend 5 billion. All of them murder so and so. We in government now. It's we time now. 3,000 people dead and could have been alive if 2% of that $5 billion was spent on something sensible other than donkey piss, kickback, thief money, China, dark secret bullshit that passes for government in this country. And every single person who is listening to this live video tonight could hate me and know without a shadow of a doubt that what I am saying is God's honest truth. That everything in this country, no matter what, you could touch it. Go and touch Napa, they thief that money. Go and touch Taruba, they thief that money. Go and touch the Cuba Hospital, they thief that money. Thief. Central Bank Towers, thief the money. They thief the money. Go and put your hands on the Beetham Highway. Put it on the Uriah Butler Highway. Put it on the Foreshore Free. All that thief money. Thief the money. They thief all of it. All of it. We've spent 9 million times what it should have cost. We have former government ministers like Vassan Bharat and Mariano Brown talking a set of look at me shit for CNC 3 and TV6 in the morning. That's why nobody don't take them on no more, you know. Nobody don't watch them, nobody watch those shows, because Trinidadians have woken up. There's a mass awakening. They don't just love Phil, you know. They love Phil's voice. They love what Phil says, because for the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, there is somebody who is willing to speak the truth in this country. I want to tell you this, that I have spoken less than 1% of the things that I already know. And I know that if you put me in government and you give me the authority to fix this shithole, that there will be an outpouring of information, 1,000,000 times what I know. And we will bring each and every one of these bastards to justice. Not just this current crop, not just this one, but everyone. And the people that you think that because they look like you, you're UNC, and you think they look like you, you're voting that, you're PNM, and they look like them, so you're voting them. When you find out what people who look like you took your vote and did to you and your loved ones, because UNC didn't punish PNM. UNC punished everybody. And PNM didn't punish UNC. PNM punished everybody. The same bastards that benefited from the thief money, that bribing ministers and kicking back to members of parliament, those same bastards make money, whether PNM or UNC in office. And whether or not you like me or not, you know in your heart of hearts, deep down, where you don't lie, you know that the political party you support is a criminal organization, and that the only reason you support them is because you don't like the other side more. So we have a choice of the lesser of two incredibly evil organizations as a constant change exchange for the hearts and minds of the people of Trinidad and Tobago that have left us broken, bankrupt, in debt, owing everybody. 3,000 people dead, 21 more dead today. 21 more dead today. And I tell you right now, without a shadow of fear of contradiction, if my brother was Minister of Health tomorrow, within 14 days, not another person die. And I'm telling you, you need 14 days. And you need 14, you might need 5. But get him 14 to clean up the shit the Alsing, Parashram, and the rest of those jackasses and jokers have done. And you may not want to hear it. You may not want to believe, but plenty parents didn't want to believe that the priest that was taking their confession was molesting their children. And plenty people don't like the truth. It is why Gloria Steinem said, the truth will set you free. But first, it will piss you off. And that is the problem in Trinidad and Tobago. Don't tell me, I don't want to know. It's election time. I'm voting Rowley. UNC till are dead. That bullshit have your children in danger. every single failure in Trinidad and Tobago, the drugs that coming in and running the gangs and causing them to kill people and kill one another, them guns you see them children standing in the street strapping on their shoulder. Maurice Nunes asked me, Phillip, these people living in houses that they're worth $5,000, but they're walking around with a $75,000 M16, AK-47 and Galil, the hell they getting that? How they getting it? Who is giving it to them? Because when they're done, shoot up in the sky, they go in a lean-to to live. The gun worth more than the street they live in. Where the gun come from? Every single part of it. The entire drug trade. Stuart Young told this nation with a straight face that no country in the world could secure his borders. And my friends in the Internal Affairs Division of the New York City Police Department sent me video that I released that proved him an inveterate liar. That the only reason that our borders are not secured is that we've never had a government in Trinidad and Tobago who was willing to secure the borders against the drug traffickers, gun runners, and all of their bastard sisters and brothers, human trafficking and other vile and criminal acts that take place in Trinidad and Tobago on a normal. So you have a country where no commissioner of police has had to have a press briefing because the Attorney General name calling in what looking like 2 serious charges of misbehavior in public office and perverting the course of public justice. There are 4 ministers named in this matter so far. And as unimportant as Adrian School looking to make a money by flouting the rules and the laws of the Public Health Ordinance, as unimportant and as irrelevant as that matter appears, it has the same bed, the same foundation, the same seed as 3,000 people dying, while our government used the people of Trinidad and Tobago as a grand experiment. I can't think of another reason. Every other idea that crosses my mind why these 3,000 people had to die is too reprehensible to have as a thought or to speak out loud. And I could only say that if we are voted into office, we will go back in time and we will find every opportunity to bring these people to justice. If what they were doing, I want to tell you this, criminal incompetence in America, in the United States of America, there is a charge, and I keep telling you all this, there is a charge called depraved indifference to human life. And we need that as a law. Because that is what Terrence D'Alzing needs to be charged with. Depraved indifference for human life. Nothing less. What is going on here? And all those lies that they are telling you, knowing for a fact, have poor Kenny J strumming his life away, singing about COVID-19 vaccine, get vax, and he get COVID and dead. Watch it. Why you didn't have none for Kenny? 67-year-old Kenny, 71-year-old Rowley live. What's the difference? Kenny had busted and held together with nylon and duct tape like Rowley on? No. So Kenny dead. How can he end up string up on a bed or a tube down his throat? You needed that image? How did that happen and Rowley live? Because I said when Rowley got COVID, if he survived it, put to rest the myth that it is a dangerous disease. And he did. Not only did he survive it, he thrived. He came away from it looking like he went away for a spa, for a treatment. Anyway, I'm loving the Everybody Love Phil. I'm loving it. I absolutely adore it. You know why? I belong to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I forget, all you know that. It's never been about position for me, because if it was about position, I inside the PNM like Simon the Nobrick. I inside the UNC like the rest of them small children. I inside, I give me a post, give me a position, because all of them forever. Oh gosh, Phil. Like David Abdullah calling for a boycott of Kiss 3 months after we called for a boycott of Kiss. What you was doing before David? Sleeping? Or is that boycott for Kiss part of a PNM agenda to distract us? Miss us with your bullshit, David Abdullah. They have bigger stories for you and MSJ to be paying your attention to. You should be camped in Petrotrin. You handle that. The rest of us, we will handle the rest of the shit. You say you know about OWTU workers, and you know about that, go and deal with that. You and Ozzy Warwick and the rest of all you. Stop trying to distract the population with bullshit. Your work have nothing to do with Kiss Baking Company. We dealing with Kiss. We get Kiss to stop using little children, sending them on the road and putting them in danger to sell hops to go. It's we do that. You reach late to this party. I want to say this to Trinidad and Tobago. Voting has consequences. It will forever have consequences. You need to decide if you want people in office who look and sound like not only they have a clue, because our policies are the best policies ever enunciated by any political organization in this country, bar none. And there are people who will tell you in the Chamber of Commerce in the banking sector, a big man in the banking sector tell me, stop me in Price Mart. He said, but let me tell you something. If your housing policy alone come to fruition in this country, it change Trinidad and Tobago forever. That's a fact. Because if you follow the science, you realize that where home ownership is high, families stay together. And where families stay together and daddy in the house, crime goes down. Because the majority of these children, and listen, Gregory Sloan Seal, and Gregory, don't get back to call your name, Gregory Sloan Seal, that is now out of the public service and in private business, finally getting paid something like what he is worth, and making a life for himself and his family after decades of sacrifice, because I went to school with Gregory Sloan Seal and I know the man. I want to tell you something. He is a source of incredible information. Gregory Sloan Seal, he said, Phil, I'm not in the politics and I'm not coming to talk, and but I'll tell Trinidad and Tobago this. Gregory Sloan Seal could tell you, based on information from decades, it is Gregory Sloan Seal that came up with the concept of cooling down the hotspots. And he will tell you that the majority of those children who join gangs looking for intimacy, looking for acceptance, looking for something like love. They ain't join them gangs because they want a shoot gun, and they ain't join them gangs because they want fancy shoes. They just want to be included in something, in a nation where communities of fathers are absent, dead from gang violence, dead from fighting police, dead or in jail. An entire generation of young males growing wild and don't know who to look after them. And that is the function of government. The boys, by freaking Super Farm, Traffic Light, Westmoreland, Columbus Circle, them Christmas time, them that the freaking PNM tried to make it out like I was demonizing them. They know me now. Them fellas, when I stop by the traffic light over this Christmas here, and they come to wipe my window, I say, I really don't want to wipe window, you know. And one of the fellas see me and recognize who it is, and I had to turn down my window because all of them come. Now listen, they have a small window of time, literally, when the traffic light on red, to wipe windows and get money. And they all swarm my vehicle. Swarm the vehicle to tell me, boss man, we with you, you know, we supporting you, you know, we like everything you're saying, you know, everything you're for real, boss, and you're for we, and we know that you're for we. Now, that was worth my whole Christmas to hear them. And I want all them little boys from Cookery to hear me say this. They don't have enough days to run that will prevent me from creating lives of hope and opportunity for you all. There will be so much choice. And I promise you that you will have, stand firm. You will have a government that knows that all you needed was hope and opportunity, and you would have risen. You would have become what you were born to be. And the only difference between them wiping the glass, I was walking in Westmall that day, and I watched this woman outside with her sign, with her child in her hand. She have her child and she have the sign. So she holding the child here. And she have the sign begging for anything for Christmas. And I'm walking into Westmall when I see this woman. And I'm walking into Westmall with my child to buy whatever is the bullshit you waste money on for Christmas, just because Christmas is a time of conspicuous consumption. So we all just overdo and splurge. And they have these people standing with their children in the rain and the sun, begging, and all of that. And if you don't understand this, you shouldn't be voting. all of that is government job. All of those people, there's supposed to be a ministry in Trinidad and Tobago that sends people to those people to ask them, why are you out here begging? What is your situation? I am your case worker. Come, let us talk. We will give you a food card. If we audit the food card system right now, because some people in certain communities not getting money on their food cards and others getting 2 and 3 food cards in their pocket. And if we audit the food card alone, you jail people in this country at the highest level of Trinidad and Tobago. We use poverty criminally. We have no shame, we have no compassion, we have no empathy, we have no regard for human life. Them fellas living nice, boy. Faris and Imbert and Rowley and Stuart Young, them living nice. Fitzgerald Hines, every time he look in the mirror, he looking not for the piper. He looking for a way to escape his own self. Because if Fitzgerald Hines gave a shit about people, he knows the power of government and how easily they could change lives. There are about 50,000 people in Cocorite that could benefit from a marine university. And the 100,000 people from Nelson Street up over that mountain in behind Piccadilly and into Beetham and Laventille, those people, that shit panyard you went and build for Nelson Street, you know and I know. Build them technical centers, vocation centers. Build them homework supervision centers. Give them the same support and advantages that those in Westmoreland and Bayshore have. Let them get a chance at life. Give them an opportunity to make a life for themselves and their own so that they don't forever have to be suffering. And I want to say this last thing before I go. These 3,000 people are dead, and the 21 people are dead today. None of them had to die. We have shittongs in government. And if 3,000 people was dying in Barbados or Jamaica or Antigua or St. Kitts or Dominica, if the amount of people dying was equitable in the region, I couldn't say what I'm saying. But it's not. Trinidad is a shit show. We have jokers in government. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, they are forcing you to get vaccinated or lose your job. On the 15th of January, by the 15th of January, tomorrow night, you will hear on this show, live from 9 o'clock, the foremost authority on industrial relations in this country. One of the best consultants. When you hear him speak, you will walk away from it empowered, and you will know all the crap they're talking, they still can't do you what they're threatening. But that's for tomorrow night. If you're not yet a member of the Citizens Union, run, don't walk. Run and sign up. Run and sign up. The bigger we make this organization is the more powerful the people of Trinidad and Tobago is. If you're not yet a member of the Progressive Empowerment Party, go to peptt.com/join right now and join. Join the party, because we become a massive force for good and a counterbalance against all the evil. Come election time, the people will have hope. And hope is a real important commodity in these times. This is not the time for stunting and games. This is the time for you to put your ear to the issues. Listen to what people are talking about, what they're saying and what they're not saying. Listen to who is addressing all of the issues that affect you with real and workable solutions in ways that you understand. Not bullshit and bureaucracy and 10 years and 100 different reasons why it wouldn't work. We come to you and tell you why we will fix it, and we show you how. By now, you must understand, voting race, not helping. If it ever was going to help anybody, surely it would have helped them by now. Yeah? Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago, 486-2888. WhatsApp that number now, or message me. I'll deal with it for you. Please share the video.
The girl them a wine non-stop. We have the drinks them in a my cup. We gonna party all night, all night. 24 parties we hit in a row.
Tell them this. Let them know. Whenever you call that election, whenever that bell ring, let them know.
We're ready for the road.
500,000. We ready. Call election. Wait. I'm on the best in the corruption in Trinidad and Tobago, a capital offense, a hanging offense. Starter Homes, we have formed the company, a Starter Homes company, and you'll be able to access financing to purchase a proper home under $1 million, $500,000. We're looking to demonstrate what we could deliver while outside of government, to give you the confidence to stand with us, to tell your people, miss me with the bullshit, save me from the PNM and UNC nonsense. We move in with a party that not just talking the talk, they walk in the talk. Until tomorrow.